Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Saturday Night Live here. And let me get you guys on a good screen. Haha, that's a good screen. We'll leave it right there. Okay. Oh, again, I always do that. Forget to mute. Okay. Does everybody see a visual? Can anyone see the Kathleen Zellner tweet from the 13th?
Okay, does everybody see a visual?
Maybe or somebody's got to mute
Yeah, I'm trying.
YouTube. Awesome. Awesome. Lily's saying, yeah, she can see it. Okay. And can everybody hear BB? Hello, BB. How are you?
Hey, everybody, can you hear me?
And Lily's in here with us. I don't know how to get
Yep,
Sammy in. Let's
she
see if
said
I can.
yes.
I'm here.
You got
You made it.
here.
Hey.
Yay. I was going to work on it
Wait, I
now.
think you wound up in Oz or somewhere.
Yeah, you went somewhere.
Yeah, it felt like it.
We got a lot of yeses. Good, good, good.
Thank you.
Yes, Brandon Maddox will be joining us shortly with his wife Meredith. So we're excited about that. And yes, Ashley, I'm excited too. I've been like all week, I've been like, Brandon Maddox is coming. And he said, last time I talked to him, he mentioned he may bring out his guitar. So we can only hope that he'll bless us with some music.
Maybe he'll play us in. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he'll play us in. I know he's got. I know he said he's got some upcoming events that are going to be really cool. So we'll have to find out more when he gets here. Hi, Kat. How are you? Hi, Julie. Hey, Zoe. I like your
So he's
smile.
still awake.
Yeah, I don't know how she's pulling that. Let's see. It's like 3 in the morning or something. Lord have mercy. Hi, Ashley. How are you? Okay, guys. So let's go back to that tweet and let's read that. All right, guys. This is just kind of things, throw out your questions, current events you want to talk about, whatever subjects you want. We're just winging it tonight till Brandon gets here. You'll have to forgive me. I still have not completely shaken that cold and it's kind of rolled into my chest. So there's going to be times I'm going to mute and then somebody in the group here will take over. So let's do some more voice checks before we get rolling. Okay, Lily, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
Hi, Lily. How was your
Hello,
week?
how is everybody?
Well, I'm good, other than this head cold.
Right, right.
We got a mask on her. Don't worry, people.
Yeah, I'm wearing a virtual mask. Okay, and then Sammy, can I hear you?
Hello.
Hi, how are you? How was your week?
Awesome.
No ice cream disasters?
Yeah.
No, thank goodness. No way.
Ah, good, good. My week was better too. I think we just were all in a slump.
It was the moon. I blame it on the moon.
Yeah, yeah, Kat, I hear you. I kind of wonder if it's not a head cold, chest cold kind of allergy kind of mix. Yeah, it's that time of year. So
Well, here it is.
Ashley said she's doing good. I am under the weather, but I'm not like really bad under the weather. I'm just, pushing through it, pushing through it.
Hey,
There's Tony.
Dr. Soakman's here.
Good morning, beautiful people. Tony's been working hard. BB's been working hard. Everybody's been working hard. And we got quite a few different projects coming up. I know Silkman has a video coming out. BB's got a video coming out, as well as we do have a project in the works that we almost brought out tonight. We'll give you a hint. It's about all the visitors at the victim's home. So we're going to be talking about that next Friday night. It's quite shocking.
There you
And
go. There's your perfect segue into Friday night.
yeah. Oh, thank you, BB. So you guys, I love our Saturday Night Lives. I really do, but they've changed some things up at my physical work location, and I am going to be required to work on Saturday nights. However, they freed up Friday nights. So we're going to be switching our Saturday Night Lives to Friday Night Lives. It's going to be the same time, same place, but just a different date. So it'll be on Friday nights as we go forward. And we'll make sure and put some Twitter tweets out there as reminders and stuff that we're switching it up. We hope that doesn't affect everybody in a bad way, and hopefully, and we do upload them so that way you can.
And if you're not able to see the lives, you can always watch it on Saturday night.
True. So think of it as a sneak peek, just to get it a whole day early. But rather than not do them, we really racked our brain and we're like, well, Monday night doesn't sound right, and Thursday nights, we've already got stuff going on there with the mini ma'am, and that's still rolling and coming along quite well. So, thank you, Jeannie. There's a couple of us, I think, even in the chat group too, that are having that little spring head cold or whatever. So Lily, I have a couple questions. I know you stay a little bit more up to date and stuff. What have you heard in the current event section of the case lately? Something about Kratz or something was going on too with cops, or I don't know.
Evidently, a neighbor said that police were at his house, not yesterday, the day before. And then this neighbor said, a little while later, they saw Leah sitting out on the porch. That's all that's been said. So nobody knows.
But it was police. It wasn't like ambulance or nothing. It was like police.
Nothing about an ambulance. It was just police. Don't even know if anybody got taken away or if it was just a, slap on the hand type of what's going on.
I heard about this, Lily. I kind of made it funny. I don't know if it's something everybody's going to find funny, and I hope I don't offend anybody. But somebody in the group we were talking with said, well, maybe it was a little domestic slap around thing. And I said, well, if it was, he certainly deserved it.
I'm sorry, yeah. He certainly does. Oh, God, he's just so slimy.
He has certainly lied to everybody. He's nothing but a liar. He lied to the jury and he lied to the public. And, I think he pretty much has, he's the ultimate liar, and he's keen at it. He's smart at it.
Yeah.
He got away with a lot of crap, and it's sad. It's sad.
I can't even imagine if that's his public face, and you usually put your best foot forward with the public. What his private life must have been like. Oh, just
I don't know. I can't imagine. And can you imagine?
Well, for a while he did have a drug problem, so
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anybody that lies that much probably sweats a lot.
That is a sign, isn't it? One of the telltales.
It could be something else.
Sweat. The sweaty signs of sweat is when you really start sweating all the lies that you're sweating through, and people ask you sweaty questions and you start getting sweatier because you're trying to answer sweaty answers to sweaty questions. And it's like,
oh gosh, too funny.
So, BB, I know you're working on, I know it's not ready, but I want to just touch on a little bit. So you started doing a little bit of research on how
I fell upon it. I fell upon it on accident.
Did you get hurt?
No. I was going over a spreadsheet that somebody had made long ago on Reddit. I guess, I'm assuming Reddit, somebody just gave it to me. So I was going through it and I kept seeing Teresa's house. And in my mind, I had always just thought maybe the police had been there 3 times or something. But then when I looked at the spreadsheet, it became mind-boggling. So
Well, yeah, that's kind of the way that the reports work. You can count on about one hand about how many reports that are in CASO regarding being in the victim's home. And they go into great detail on the couple visits that they talk about who answered the door, what they were there for was to collect DNA. So they get the victim's DNA or attempt to collect items that have her DNA. Apparently, none of them work because they don't.
Yeah. What about the 3 pairs of clean panties? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, with her
True.
DNA, because everybody's panties in their underwear drawer in their dresser has DNA on it. Yeah.
Shannon's asking us for Shannon John just wants a quick recap. Shannon, we basically just got started a few minutes ago. We've kind of teased Kratz about having cops at his house. And that's about it. We're just kind of getting rolling. So you haven't missed much. Jeannie's saying that Kratz holds no credibility. He is one big mess and sweaty, I hear. Yeah. Obsessed with sweat, actually. Oh, yeah, I'm not on live chat. Dang. Hold on. Let me switch it over. I always forget that I've got to do that or it gets, I don't know, strange. I want to say hi to everybody and thank you for joining us tonight. We have Brandon Maddox coming on very shortly. And then him and Meredith are going to visit us for a while. So we're really excited. So hopefully he'll be here soon. So in the meantime, we're talking about more current events than anything. So Sammy, I know you've been working on some stuff too. With the case recently and the events with the state not answering and stuff, what's your personal take on why the state's not answering?
They're going to drag their feet for as long as they possibly can.
Yeah.
And if we get any kind of answer or response, it's going to be somebody, they're going to be kicking and screaming not to do it. That's my opinion.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I have absolutely no faith in the fact that, that they intend to respond. And you can tell by Zellner's last tweet, she's counting the days, which looks like it probably be months.
Okay, that was the 13th, so we add on 5 days. So we're at 22 days and counting.
Yep. And is it 90 days?
Yeah. They're going to wait till the last minute.
Oh, yeah.
Last minute.
And even then, I'm sure they'll find or make up some kind of loophole not to answer.
Yeah.
Of course.
They have their back onto the wall, is the way I see it.
Well, it's just like how they cherry picked all their answers out of that, the rules. They just picked the stuff on why they can't use the rapid DNA. They didn't read the part where it says it could be done.
I think they're just trying to figure out how to get out of having to have a response at all.
Well, like they thought Zellner wasn't going to read the whole thing.
Right.
Please.
And I mean, it's very disappointing because after all of this, you would think at some point, and Brendan Maddox's song he's got one that says "Man up, Manitowoc,"
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. They're not.
Man up.
They're not.
Man up.
They're not.
Well, I think a lot of this too is they're in a real hard place because here's what we really have. If anybody else was the one that had written the affidavit, just a normal scientist, the state might be able to argue back that the system isn't capable of this or so forth. But the person that we have the affidavit from is the inventor of the system itself, and it's FBI approved. So the state can't say, well, we need somebody we can trust that's accredited, because they've got the number one guy is on Zellner's team saying, yeah, just give me the bones and it's a done deal. We can do it.
I love that.
Well, and they just did all those fire deaths, so it kind of proves that it works, All those people that died in that California fire, they used it to identify remains of people that they could not tell who they were from the California wildfires. And So
Yep.
they proved that it works right there.
90 minutes. 90 minutes and the case could be over. And remember, you guys, I know I said it last time, but it's worth making another mention because it's so shocking to think of it. So, after 18 years of incarceration, wrongfully convicted, Stephen Avery on the in September 10th was told, "You're going home tomorrow," and it was over in 24 hours.
Yeah.
This could be over
Yeah.
in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
He
90
barely
minutes.
had time to give any of his possessions away before he left, you know?
I'd left him all my possessions and been like, "I'm out of here." And I personally would have left the state. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have some crowd. We have some listeners that want to kind of jump in. And Jeannie asked, "Who is Brandon Maddox?" So, Jeannie, I'm going to give you guys a little story how me and Brandon kind of connected with his wife and all. What was happening is I was putting the Rubberducky channel videos out there, and Brandon was following along, and he made a couple mentions that he would like me to listen to his music, and was there a place he could send a link? And I went and listened to his music, and I listened to the one song called
Time will
Time
tell on
Will
you.
Tell on You. And it broke my heart when I was thinking of this case, and I literally was in tears. And I went back to Brandon and I said, your music moves me, like it physically made me cry." And he was like, "Oh my gosh." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Is there any way? I know I'm a little tiny channel. I use my phone to make these videos, but it would mean so much if I could borrow that song to open up the videos." So he said yes. So he wrote me an email approving it, that I could use the song, and I did for a lot of the videos. And I still
And
use it
it's in
for,
the mini mams right now. Not
yeah,
the
it's in
first
the,
one, but it's in the rest of the mini mams.
yep. I just wanted to reconfirm that I could use it before I jump back on and used it again. But he's a very kind fella, and what he has to do with the case isn't just his music, but that he's up on the case like you guys. He stays with the current events, trying to figure out who did it. This is the biggest whodunit case in the world. And when he does his performances, he's a singer, songwriter, and he performs his own music as well. He travels the whole United States. And then, Sammy, you kind of did like a little bio today on him.
She read it. Yeah, she
Yeah,
read his
she was.
bio.
I read it too quite a while ago, but you're more up to date on it. He won some awards as well, did he not?
Well, let me see. I want to go back to this here. He had a, and I pulled it off. Oh, here we go. Well, it showed up that he had a Song of the Year in 2017, and that was called Dixie Chaser. And here recently, I guess it hit at number 16 on the charts. So that's really good.
Yeah,
But
he's doing great.
he's opened for Blake Shelton and Brett Eldredge. He has 3 albums that were produced by Reba McEntire's band leader and keyboard player, Doug Sizemore. And of course, they consider him a triple threat because he's an artist, a singer, and a songwriter. Yep,
Well,
pretty
thank you,
awesome.
Sammy. Very awesome.
And he's really nice.
Yes. So,
And he's very active in the case.
one of the things that I really have a lot of respect for what they do also is they visit on a regular basis. They visit the children's hospitals, and will go in there and sign autographs, or just they may not even know who he is. He doesn't care. He just hangs out with the kids, and him and his wife do that on a regular basis, and it's quite moving actually. They're very kind people. But they'll be here in a little bit, and we'll be able to talk with him and ask him some questions. So, in the meantime, Lily, do you know of any other current events that you want to kind of bring up? Or if there's anybody in the crowd that wants to ask questions, we can definitely take those too.
Right now, we're kind of just at a standstill. Everybody's waiting, holding their breath.
Oh, I thought of something. I heard that Lynn Kuczynski, is that right? Lenny?
Oh, yeah, Lynn.
Yeah, that he
Meow.
violated his probation. He
Oh
couldn't stop
no.
meowing at his secretary,
That's right.
evidently. I didn't read it though. I don't know much about it, but
He
Where
violated
is
his
that?
so he was, you know,
So maybe
that's kind of like the
meow,
cat's
meow
meow, isn't
again.
it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that though. I didn't read
Oh,
it, but
I sent it to, oh, Brandon, he needs a link to join.
you're gonna have to. I
I
thought you
sent
emailed
it.
it.
Yeah, I did a while ago, like over a while ago.
So it means he's here. Yes.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Now we just got to get him in.
Well, it'd be Meredith's.
Yeah, Meredith's email.
I'll just put the email you sent me. There we go. Yeah, I sent it in there. That's why I need the email.
Yeah, I've been so busy trying to get that PowerPoint done and wrap up the other one that I hadn't read the thing on Lynn Kuczynski other than that he violated his probation. So
It's kind of it's more
you
than
should have
ironic
heard you
that
should have heard all the meowing in my head when I read that.
Julie wants to know, do you know anyone going? I do know people going to the rally. Am I going to be there? No, there are no ponds in Manitowoc that this duck is going to be landing in. No, thank you.
I myself
Yeah,
have an
Brandon.
allergic reaction to Manitowoc. I'm allergic to it. So
Well, it's their program for Guns for the Blind that bothers me the most.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
So, you guys, we have a running joke because we read in one of these books that's out, and I won't name it, but anyway, there was this quote that Colburn was upset. It wasn't even a book, was it? It was actually a court
No,
case, wasn't it?
yeah, I think so.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's actually in his paperwork, in Colburn's paperwork. He was going on about how he was so worried about the protection of his wife, who
And
happens to
she
be
was
blind,
afraid.
and she's
Yes.
afraid that she happens to be blind. That's all it said. It didn't say, couldn't see good. It said blind. And so he had to give her a gun.
Yeah. So immediately.
She's going to drive the gun there too.
Manitowoc's new program, Guns for the Blind.
Oh, yeah. What was Elsie originally arrested for? Elsie. Oh, my brain. This cold's got me a little foggy. Who's Elsie, you guys?
Lynn
Kaczynski? Okay. It's a K. LK. Gotcha. He was okay. Deb wants to know. So apparently he had a receptionist and he had.
Well, originally he was Brendan's lawyer that got him to draw all that stuff. His not good lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So then, okay, you guys, I'm going to try to tell this with a straight face. Okay. Get serious because this is the silliest thing you're going to hear. All right. So here's how it worked. Lynn Kaczynski had a receptionist and he had a stuffed cat toy. And he would meow for it to the point she was going like crazy over it. And he became more and more demanding and weird with this cat till she filed harassment charges. And it stuck. And so he got in trouble for harassing his receptionist. And I kid you not, it's over a stuffed kitty cat.
And he didn't get jail time, but he did get probation. And obviously, he couldn't stop meowing at her.
Oh my God.
We had a little meme I made.
He did something that broke his probation. I'm not sure what all his probation regulations. Like I said, I didn't read the article because I've been very busy this week. But I did see it, and then there was a lot of meowing in my head.
Yeah.
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 From what I understood, it was not for anything inappropriate. It was just, I guess, he didn't realize he's just really not allowed to contact her. Period.
I'm wondering if Brandon has been able to get on yet. I haven't seen him on.
Can you resend the link to wherever he had last messaged you from?
I can try it again and see if I get it. I hope I do. Oh, okay. The thing is everybody's going to see all the stuff is because that's why I tried to do it earlier. You're going to be in my, I can't because it's in my personal, it's all in my personal stuff. Brandon, I'm going to try to do it a different way. I'm going to try to put the link to you somehow.
Can't you get it from your mail? Sent mail?
Yeah, but
and copy it from your sent mail.
It's not in that. It's in the Facebook.
DM him through Discord. Tell him to go to Discord. DM him.
I can't hook up Discord when I'm on live.
Oh.
Yeah. So if one of you girls would go into Discord and
I can do that for you.
Thank you, Lily. Go into Discord, grab that for him, and just resend it to him.
Send it to him how? In a DM?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that he can get on. Okay, Brandon, what we're going to do is Lily's going to do it because otherwise I have to go into my real account and they're seeing my desktop. So I can't do it now, but we'll resend. And it's going to probably, well, mine went to the email you gave me. So it should be sitting in that email. But otherwise, Lily's going to find a way to get it to you and we'll get you on here. I'm not sure.
So
that's where I sent it. You got it. He's showing me, but I'm not posting it so that, it's still going. Oh, I don't know if he wants his email address. He wants it sent.
I got it. It's gone.
Okay.
I got it.
Did you give Lily that address though?
No, I didn't.
Okay. We'll work this out, you guys. Yeah, she needs that address. I sent it to that address. I don't know why it didn't go.
Ask him if he could put it again.
One more time, please, Brandon. Can you post that and we'll try to grab it before.
Oh, like he can't hear me.
Timed out.
Well, Bumblebee just made him go to timeout.
No, I deleted the message.
No.
It says Brandon Maddox was timed out by Bumblebee for 300 seconds.
Oh no. Okay. He won't be on the live chat. That won't affect the live chat. So if we can get him that.
Well, like I said, I sent it to him in a DM in Discord.
How did that do that? Just for deleting a message?
Yep. If you delete 3 messages in a row, it'll time the person out.
I didn't though, so
it says you did, but I get it that you didn't. It probably just triple took or something. It's okay.
Jesus.
We're not professionals, nor do we claim to be. Just so you know, I'm in my pink house coat.
This is why they call me Bumblebee.
This is why Bumblebee doesn't have the master key to the library.
Are you kidding me, Ducky? I'm wearing my pumps and everything. You're in your little robe.
My robe. Oh, the online guy. Okay, Shira wants to talk about the last Casso read with the guy. What was his name? Herod? Yeah. So this was a gentleman that got interviewed by the police, the law enforcement. And he had stated that the night before, so it would have been Hallows Eve, the night before Halloween, the night before Teresa goes disappearing.
October 30th.
Yes. Let me grab a drink. So he claims first that he was chatting with a female online that he thought was Teresa Halbach. And he talked about, she confirmed a lot of stuff with him that he shouldn't have known. But the weirdest thing was that he said she loved photography. So I was like, well, maybe it's her. Then she stated that she worked for Auto Trader. Then she stated that she was going to Steve Avery's the next day. How in the world would he, first of all, known anything about that if he wasn't really talking to her? Number 2, how would she know she was going to Steve Avery's? Did I lose?
That's right. Well, because she didn't get the.
He didn't call in.
Yeah.
It had not occurred. Steve Avery called in October 31st. When he called in to get Teresa to come, Kratz has lied and said that Stephen asked for the same girl. What happens is you always get the same girl no matter what. So he said she would be fine. But the big thing is he did not know he was going to have that appointment that day because the receptionist said We'll try to do it today, but it might be the following Monday. So that happened Monday morning on the 31st. How is Herod, this chat guy, that and not only did he know that about her, that she was going to Steve Avery's, that she had she worked for Auto Trader. He knew that she stated that she liked photographing the old cars there. So he would not know any of this had he not talked to Teresa. And yet, how does he know, or how would she have known to tell him that she was going to Steve Avery's the next day?
Well, and also the cars that she photographed for Avery weren't that old of cars.
It's just strange.
That's that guy who owned that one car with another guy that owned the old car. Just saying.
Well, he said he said in the report that she told him that her friends told her to stay away from the Averys because they weren't nice people or something along that lines. But her response was she thought Steven Avery was a nice guy. So it was Steven Avery that she talked about.
Well, not only, how did she know she was going when she didn't have a ticket for it yet? But also, why would she be telling like a kind of a complete stranger where exactly she would be going on her trip?
Right. And then also to team it up on that very same timeline, not only do we have her telling this guy that she's predicting the future, that she's going to be at Steve Avery's tomorrow, which she shouldn't know.
Yeah.
She's also told Tom Pierce that tomorrow, October 31st, is her last day to work for Auto Trader. She also had told this guy that she had just recently become single.
Baby, what does this sound like to you?
And think of this. Brian Scheck's divorce, the 28th of October, finalized 3 days prior to Teresa's quote-unquote disappearance.
Yeah.
How did she know all this?
Yeah, ahead of time.
I mean, if you know this kind of stuff ahead of time, then you're psychic. And if you're psychic, you know not to go do that appointment, obviously. It wouldn't have been in your best interest. Just saying. So we have a problem. How would a victim know prior to an appointment being scheduled by anybody, including the person going to schedule an appointment, that you're going there tomorrow? How does Sherry Culhane know she's going to cough on a bullet? So 10 days earlier, she fills out a protocol. How did the law enforcement know that Steven Avery was going to be a homicide suspect and be charged with it on the 3rd when they hadn't even found the rap till the 5th? So we're starting to see not some coincidences, but suspicion. Because if you get the same jump in the gun every time, it's like somebody jumping rope. You know it's coming. It means it's planned. So what that means to me is, how does the victim know events before they're going to happen? That's a big deal. That's a big, big deal to me.
There's kind of a little of that throughout to me.
It's almost like everything is out of time.
Yeah, like your video out of time.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to try to give this link.
I'm trying to write it down now to try and send it.
Oh, okay. We've been waiting on him. So let me see if I can. He's timed out on here.
Sorry.
Can I stop sharing my
my God. Now? Could I have made a bigger screw up?
It's okay. Let me see. I'm going to stop sharing my desk and hope it doesn't end the live. But
okay, let me
I don't know what you guys.
Let me see if I can get this to Lily.
Okay, now nobody can see it. I can do it. Hold on. I just didn't want to put my kids' Facebook on there. My kids and me and all that on there. But I can get to the message now. Brandon, I'm going to put it in our message. We did send it to that address that you asked for, but it's apparently not working. So if you go to your Facebook messages in your DM, I put an actual link to click and hope that gets you there.
Okay.
Hopefully. I'm going to mute for a minute before I cough.
LL Grace. Well, I think the point we're kind of getting around to has a little bit to do with some of these. Every once in a while, you notice in this case, there's little things that are mentioned that are kind of out of sync with what actually supposedly happened.
Ducky has a video on it. I think it's out of step, out of time.
Yeah, it's called Out of Time.
Called Out of Time.
Yeah. Oops. No, not meaning to do this. Close it. Great. I just shared everything. That's
sorry.
what you get for having mine.
I am so sorry.
That's okay. Okay, you guys. So another thing that was talked about this week, well, we're kind of, I'm kind of stalling a little bit, so we get him on here. But Bambi Bambanic. So this was a story.
Oh, 1 second. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Lily, I sent you a message.
Okay.
With the email address.
Okay.
I don't know. We're going to look at a Reddit here. And it's posted by BaltimorePostExaminer.com, okay? Said, did Wisconsin prosecutors commit crimes to convict Lori Bambi Bambennett? So this is a story. I'm showing you guys a link here. And then you get a whole bunch of information. And one of the things that is quite clear is that the same individual, Williams, that butt dialed Zellner, was involved in this and admitted. Okay, let's read this. On July 28, 2005, during questioning in a sworn deposition. So this is a legal document. This is where you swear in that you're telling the 100% truth. Michael J. Camp, supervisor of the Milwaukee Regional Crime Laboratory. Now, Michael J. Camp, let me back up. He's the same guy that our current Attorney General and the one previous to him. Something just moved while I was doing that. There we go. He was the one that headed up the investigation into the audit of the crime lab for Wisconsin because of the complications that we had with the evidence. Some evidence was being taken home, such as fingerprints. Some of the evidence tests were being said that they were run and confirmed to match when no tests had been done. And so he was called in to do a serious audit. Now he's also playing a different role in a different case. So he is now swearing, and he's the supervisor of the Milwaukee Regional Crime Laboratory. So one of our places here in Wisconsin, we have 3 crime labs. He admitted that he placed the false document in the crime laboratory file to verify the false statements Williams had told in court. So you guys check it out. The guy that accidentally butt dialed Zellner in a different case put some false statements together, and the crime lab supervisor falsified documents to try to make Williams look like he was telling the truth and nefariously put them in the file. He also admitted that he and others at the crime lab, this is Michael Camp talking, had changed their own protocols to allow their experts to provide the false opinion of inconclusive instead of the true opinion of no match.
Brandon's there.
Oh, good. Hi, Brandon. Finally.
I'm so sorry. I put you in timeout. I don't even know how. All I did was delete your email.
We didn't want
wow, I've got to put in timeout for my own show here.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No,
I was just trying to get your email off the thing.
That's okay. That's fine.
Well, how are y'all tonight?
Well, it's been a crazy week, but we're glad that we've made it through it alive. So that's
right. Yeah.
Well, we're welcoming you to the show, of course. And we all have a lot of questions, but we want you to catch your breath first. So, before we get started, um, so one of the things we'll wrap this little spill up a little bit. What we're talking about, Brandon, is that Zellner had tweeted about Michael J. Camp, the supervisor of the crime lab in Milwaukee. He went on a different case where he went on and he, in sworn deposition, spoke that he had done some bad work for Williams, the guy that butt dialed Zellner.
Yes, I
The
remember him.
bones were, yeah, the stuff about, oh, we don't know what we have for bones, blah, blah, blah. Well, that guy had made some false statements in the case. And Michael J. Camp went on to state that they had falsified documents that they put in the files in order to verify the false statements. In other words, make Mark look like he was telling the truth.
Right.
And then he admitted that others in the crime lab had changed the protocols, in other words, the rules, the laws, to allow their own experts to provide an inconclusive because it sounded better than no match, which would have actually probably cleared her. Then 3 days later, they returned back to their original rules after that happened. And in their opinion of every legal expert, Archangels has contacted that this conduct is criminal under Wisconsin law. So that's our crime labs we're talking about that test the stuff that determine whether you go to jail or not. And they're handling the DNA. And DNA is one of the most sensitive things you can get. So, well, Brandon, let's get on and ask a couple questions if you don't mind. We have a lot of interested people that we've actually, some of the own researchers have their own questions. Sammy, did you want to kind of lead off with your question?
Well, yeah. What inspired you the most in writing Man Up, Manitoc?
Well, I was just basically furious with the way I kept seeing things covered up and the way everything was, as I, dug into it after watching the MAM 1 and 2, I started, digging around there myself, just reading all the stuff that both Rubberducky and others were saying out there and looking at the different documents up online. So I was like, these people really just need to start being, adults here
Man
and
up.
stop like
Man
kids.
up. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that it really means a lot to, to just quit hiding and actually just own up to everything. And I think that's what your song says so well. And your songs move me. I mean, of course, everybody knows one of my favorite songs that you've done, and that is Time Will Tell on You, because I feel like that's what's happening in this case is, every day that goes by, there's just more and more people looking in this case. So when you were writing Time Will Tell on You, what was your inspiration for that particular song?
I had a more generalized approach because I hadn't even heard about the Steven Avery case when I wrote about that. I wrote that years ago, and it was more of a relationship kind of a thing. It was more of like guy girl kind of writing, and I'd written that with another guy, and I had this thought like time will tell, and then hitting the punchline on you, time will tell on you. And so I took that to him. We wrote sort of like a male-female relationship, but then it came to mean something totally different after I watched MAM 1 and 2. Actually, it hit me after MAM 1. It's like, in time, the truth will be revealed. And this song applies so much to that, even though I didn't even know about the Avery case and wasn't aware of it, that, I just thought, well, this song would be the perfect one for the Avery case and to bring awareness to that. So that's where it happened and how it happened.
Yeah, it's definitely done that. I mean, it's one of those things whenever when I'm putting together the little photographs of people and your music's playing and your music inspires me which photographs to use, actually, even. There's so much of a story being told. And I think it's the power of the actual music itself is incredible, but then to team it up with such inspiring lyrics, so hopeful, that I just want to say you just really capture a lot of our feelings in the case, and thank you for that.
Thank you very much. I've been watching some of the videos, trying to catch up lately, and it's really been playing a lot. And I appreciate you playing the song. We've been trying to in between things catch up, and we only can like get into it 5 minutes, and then we're off to the next thing because life has just been so crazy lately. It's just nuts. So,
well, I hope it's been in a good way.
It's been good, and we've been selling our house up in Nashville because we've moved from Nashville just because we can tour from anywhere, and I've got family in the Chattanooga area, and so we moved down here to the Chattanooga area to be close to them and to do some work for them, help them out, as they age. So we're trying to sell the house up in Nashville, and so there's been a lot to it. So it's not been bad. It's just been kind of crazy and hectic. And
yeah. Well, we wish you all the best with that as well. Now, BB, you had some questions too, didn't you? You want to ask one of yours?
Yeah. As you travel around the country, are you able to still talk with people in the public about this ma'am case?
Yes, we've brought it up several times. During since we watched Ma'am, we asked people, especially those from Wisconsin, what do you think about this? What's have you watched that? Or if we know the people pretty well, then we, and they're even not from Wisconsin, we're just hanging out as friends. Hey, have you watched this? And usually if they're not from Wisconsin and they've watched Making a Murderer, then they are totally pro Avery and totally, they can see through it because they haven't been propagandized to death like all the people in Wisconsin have, or a lot of people have.
There's something to that. You're 100% right. It's like, the people, whoops, my computer honestly just finds itself on Steven Avery no matter what I type, apparently. Like that. One day, you guys, I don't know if anybody else has got to this point to where you're working so deep in the case that you think your computer automatically knows what you're talking about. So I typed in something like wrath and just waited. I'm like, wait a minute. It's just bringing up cars. What's wrong with this? It's broken.
It wouldn't surprise me if they do know what you're about to type.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother show.
Yes. I also had one follow-up question. So in general, what's the general consensus overall, you think?
Yeah, it varies. It's, we've run into about 50-50 on that, with the people that we've talked to, because especially those that, like I said, are in Wisconsin or near that area of the country.
Yeah. More guilty ones there. Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to feel he's guilty. And then the ones that are not from there, they can see the truth, that he's not. So, yeah, when you said that, that's about right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a really accurate description. We always try to, at least in the beginning when we talk about the case, to at least appear neutral so people feel like they can tell us their opinion, Right. Then, of course, if they ask us, then, of course, we're going to tell them that we totally believe in his innocence, and we believe that Brendan was completely coerced. And, we will get into it if it goes that way,
Right.
We obviously are trying to make fans, so we don't want to like completely offend people like in the very beginning. But I mean, if it came to that, then obviously we wouldn't want them to be our fan anyway. But yeah.
It's we feel strongly about the case, and we definitely don't want to just be wishy-washy about it. We want to let them know where we stand and why we stand there. But then again, it doesn't do any good. If they're firmly entrenched and they are just going to believe what they're going to believe, I don't know how effective it is to even, they just kind of shut you down, don't even talk to you or don't listen.
Yeah, they just shut down the conversation.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the times, like, they don't really have a lot to say these days. We've kind of debunked. Zellner has debunked so much of the evidence. The bullet doesn't have blood on it. It doesn't have bone on it. So, how does a bullet kill somebody if it doesn't have any bone or blood on it?
Right.
Then you look at the key. Well, we've all kind of went, really? I mean, at this point, the guilters won't even talk about the key.
Right.
And now look at the bones.
Mm-hmm.
The state handing them back to the Hall box, Do you feel that the state was doing that in a way where they were handing them back, being like, time for you to have the bones back so that you can grieve and get over, and move on with your life? Or do you feel that they were doing something maybe more nefarious?
Probably something more nefarious. I feel like, with the Hall box have ties to law enforcement, and this may be treading on weird ground or whatever, but I just feel like they know more than they're saying. Like, I was listening we were listening to you earlier, and about something you said made me think, the call coming in on the very day, I believe it was, that Steven Avery was reported possible homicide, suspect. I thought those things tying in like that, and because, what's the mom's name? Hallbach, Teresa's mom.
Karen.
Karen Hallbach. They have law enforcement in their family. What if Teresa, just kind of, because she predicted, hey, if I die sometime.
We have really been thinking a lot lately. And I know that there's all kinds of conspiracy theories on all of this, and we don't have to go down that road. But what if Teresa isn't even dead? Or what if she commits suicide and this was just a convenient way to tie it up because her family didn't want to? There is still a social stigma that's, tied to suicide. And a lot of people, it seems like in that area of the country, it would be looked down upon their family for her doing that. And so,
especially as a Catholic family.
Exactly. And so that's what we were thinking about. And just the fact that, there is no body. We still have never found a body. We don't know if she was shot. We don't know how she died. We really have no way to know any of that. So, I mean,
yeah.
Well, if you caught any of the Saturday Night Lives prior to this, I flat out say I believe that she is alive.
Yeah, I'd like for them to prove who the victim really is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, the fact that the state, the complication I see is the same MO going over and over again. That starts looking to me like this is a pattern of events that they've played before. What concerns me mostly is that in so many different situations with the state of Wisconsin, I'm not even talking about Manitowoc or any county. I'm talking about the state of Wisconsin. First, we have an issue with the VIN number being tampered with. That's an identification of a vehicle, and it's now suspicious. So we have a suspicion of the identification of the vehicle. I don't care who you are. If you've been in this case for more than a month, you have probably had a conversation where somebody was talking to you about the RAV, and it might not be the right RAV.
Yeah. And it seems like, if they're lying once, they'll do anything to cover it up. I don't think that there's any limitations to them. I think that they'll do whatever it takes at this point to do it. And it, with the attorney Brad Schimmel, and when Brendan was about to get through some things and maybe get to be released on just bond, just for a few days, we're not talking much.
Yeah.
Brad Schimmel just suddenly puts on the brakes and says, no way, that ain't happening. He's a danger to society. And, with that traveling that, at least it's that far up and probably further up the, up the totem pole of people, that, obviously there's a huge thing and a cover up going on that, if they let the least little bit get out, then it's going to throw the whole thing into question. And so they're willing to do whatever, I think.
Like unravel the rug under their little feet.
There you go. Yeah.
You had the cover up of the identification of the vehicle. And then we have the cover up of the identification of the origin of the bones. Mm-hmm. Then we have the cover up of the identification of the bones themselves, not just the origin, but the bones themselves. And all along, we're running into identification problem. That's the sum of this case, is we have an identification problem. Had in the beginning, we have a baby, you probably are going to go off on this, but we do have a gentleman's agreement.
Oh my God.
Which we don't want to tie up the show because we're here to talk to Brandon, so we'll leave it alone. But I'm just going to say there was a gentleman's agreement between the defense and the prosecution not to question where the identification originally stemmed from. So, but I do have another question for you, Brandon, but I'm going to hold off. Lily, did you have any questions for Brandon?
No, I'm just really enjoying listening.
Okay.
How about the one for Zoe?
Yeah, let
Sammy,
me read that.
Okay,
Tell him who Zoe is. Tell him who Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe.
Go ahead, babe. Tell him who Zoe is.
Zoe is one of our researchers that actually is on the other side of the world, and
Slovenia.
Yes, Slovenia. Wow. And it's like probably 7 hours for me. We're looking at like 3 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So she's asleep, but she really, really wanted to make sure and get to ask some questions. And Sammy wrote them down. Oh,
wow. She wanted to know, how did you get started on MAM and what made you want to follow up with it?
Yeah, well, actually, it was kind of partly Meredith, I think, that started us on MAM. We had been kind of flipping through the Netflix, and we said, what's our next thing we're going to watch on TV? And, you know, often late at night when we're on the road, we get in like at all hours of the morning, you know. So when we get in, it's, you know, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and we can pick up our Netflix on other houses if we crash with people, or if we're you know, in a hotel room, we can pull it up on the laptop. And basically we were kind of going through that. We saw Making a Murder, and she said, this is like a really popular thing right now.
I had heard a lot of people talking about it, but where we were in the country, we definitely weren't really familiar like with the case at all. Like we had barely heard anything about it. But I had just heard people talking a lot about it and seen a lot of people talking about it on social media. And so one night after a show, we put it on and we were hooked. I mean, it didn't take that long before we had watched all the episodes. Like it became...
You couldn't walk away, I know.
No, it became like an obsession. Like, if we weren't playing a show or talking about the next place that we had to be, it was talking about the case. And it's just always been something since we first found out about it that we just, you know, couldn't push to the back of our mind. It was just so...
it stays with you. It really does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It could happen to anybody. I mean, anybody could face this kind of thing, you know, and it's got to be changed. And it was something that I was like, well, how could I help with this? You know, what could I do to help once we dove into it, and it became such an obsession with us.
Yeah, because whatever they do to the least of us, they could do to the rest of us.
That's right.
So true.
That's exactly
so true. So, Brandon, did you bring your guitar as my question?
I did. I have it.
Thank you. You know, my birthday's coming up, and I've had a birthday wish for a long time, and that was to hear you play my favorite song in the world. But I would love to hear any song you chose.
Okay.
Well, what's your favorite song in the whole world?
He knows my favorite song.
And also, I think Sammy has a question about your guitar.
Yes.
Oh, well, I was just curious if you had a favorite brand of guitar.
Yeah, I use a back porch a lot of times at my shows. They're actually a company out of Sacramento, California, and they sent me a guitar several years ago, and I really like it. I like guitars for different guitars for different reasons, actually. And this one here that I'm playing for you tonight is a 1970 Martin that was given to me. And
nice.
Yeah, I was playing for a children's hospital down in Florida at Golisano Children's Hospital in Fort Myers. And when I was in that hospital, like we were in the atrium and just playing for the families there and people as they were passing through. And a guy said, so what are you doing here? And what's your story? And tell me about you. And I started talking to him, and he, when we got done talking, he said he wanted to basically give me something, and we didn't know what. We didn't know what at that point, what it was. And he came back later with this guitar I'm playing tonight, the 1970 Martin. And I just love the way this one, this guitar sounds. It's just got a really cool tone to it when it's in tune. And so I've got that. I've got a Taylor, and that was real easy on my hands to play. It's really good. It's cool like that. And then I've got my childhood guitar that I taught myself on, and it's a Washburn guitar, but it sounds great. It was just redone, and it now sounds really good. But it's not easy on my hands. It's real high action of a guitar. What other guitars I've got? I think those are the main ones I use and that I really like.
How old were you when you started playing guitar?
About 11 or 12. I had grabbed an old Yamaha classical guitar out of my grandfather's woodshed, and it was my dad's former guitar when he was about that age, back in the 60s. And this guitar had like a crack in it, and it was rattling, and it didn't even have all of its strings. And so I restrung it, and I sat there and I just played it for hours and practiced. And I wouldn't go down and eat dinner until I got the guitar parts that I was working on done. That's how disciplined I was at that age.
Yeah. Wow. Most kids at
you
10
knew
12
you wanted to play.
Yeah, they're the ones playing video games nowadays. So that's a very inspirational story. Very much.
Yeah. So it took my time. It basically was a good way to, my parents were moving to a new house. It was a good thing to kind of take my mind off, leaving all my friends behind at the old house too. And I wanted to start writing songs. That was my,
well, it
goal.
must have been meant to be that you got moved away from your friends, because now you've got a huge fan club of friends, and you have learned to play some of the most beautiful and write the talent that you have to be able to do all three, to write the song, to play the music, and then to be able to perform it as well. So many people are doing music, but somebody else writes it, or the band plays all the music and such. But you've got it all. You're like a triple threat, I think they call it, or something.
Yeah, they say you're a triple threat. Yeah.
Yeah, you're very talented.
You got it right.
Well, let's hear some of that.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah,
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you very much. Let me get it in tune real quick so it sounds the best it can sound.
I got goosebumps. I'm so excited.
Well, I'll tell y'all something while Brandon's tuning. So we just released our third single, right? Third single to radio this week. And we've already heard back that it's getting a great response overseas, believe it or not. In Germany, it's already getting a really great response. So it's kind of funny that we haven't heard from a lot of the places even close by, but Germany loves the song. So
Germany, Canada, Denmark, Luxembourg.
Yeah. So we had been talking about a year or so ago, maybe going to Ireland to tour, because country music is big in Ireland. And so now maybe we'll have a good idea of, where to go, because people will have heard Brandon's music. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's amazing how your talent from 12-year-olds playing, learning to play this, and now you've already gotten to where you're worldwide.
Get your passports ready. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you were meant to do it. You definitely.
God's definitely blessed me, and I appreciate you guys saying that. Thank you so much. Did you want to hear Time Will Tell on You? Is that the one?
Whatever song
actually,
you want
she
to
does
play.
have a different favorite. Her favorite one is not one of yours, actually.
Oh, okay.
Is
Well,
it?
tell me what that is.
No, I want
No, it's
Brandon's
you
song.
want. Oh, okay. You want his song. All right.
Yeah, that's what I meant by
I
my.
thought you meant your.
I don't think he wants to play Girls Want to Have Fun.
No.
But it would be excellent.
No. Yeah.
Girls just wanna have fun.
Oh
There
my
you go.
God, that's great. No, I want to hear. I want to hear whatever song you pick out of yours. I really would love to hear "Man Up Manitowoc."
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. Let's get
Yeah.
Meredith in there.
Okay, sounds great. I'm gonna everybody, if you'll mute your mics, and that way we give the floor over to Brandon. Thank you, guys. I'm so excited.
All right, let's see. You got your foot tambourine on?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me, how long are you gonna keep up this charade? Lying covered up, that's why you're lying in this bed you made. The truth is coming out, you might as well come clean. You framed an innocent man, now your picture doesn't fit like you. Your gun's blowing smoke and you're denying it. So bite the bullet you claimed was his. Get some guts in it, bet what you did, and man up, Manitowoc. Let's hear from your lips and see you walk the talk. It had enough childish games, Michigan. The world wants to know if you've got the stuff to man up, Manitowoc. So you took a man's life for a life it didn't take. You ground her in a cell. What difference does it make? Framing somebody should really be a crime. You hide like sissies behind your cronies. Step out and prove you got the cojones to man up, Manitowoc. Let's hear it from your lips and see you walk the talk. We've had enough childish games, Michigan. The world wants to know if you've got the stuff to man up, Manitowoc. The way you bungled the clues, we've no choice but think that you're in on it too. And the real killer's still on the loose. How could you sleep when the best that you had in this case was a coerced confession? You say you're so sure was his answer. Was it just your $36 million question? It's time to man up, Manitowoc. Let's hear it from your lips and see you walk the talk. Clean house right down to your last crooked cop. Blown it, now own it. Wisconsin bottom to top. It's time you got on it and man up. Your judgment day is come, Manitowoc. Manitowoc.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love that.
Yes.
Okay, do it again. No.
No, encore. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Just have to make your recording.
incredible.
Thank
Oh
you.
man, that was so solid. Wow.
Can
You
I
have-
ask you one more question?
Sure,
Do you-
absolutely.
Do you have a favorite musician?
Well, I've got so many favorite musicians, it's crazy, but big influence of mine, ironically, was the Beatles. I learned a lot
Yes.
of, intricate chord changes and things like that from the Beatles early on in my childhood as I was teaching myself from old Beatles books. So that was a huge beginning influence. And then country-wise, Brad Paisley is huge. All the old greats like Hank Williams Sr. and Marty Robbins, and then Merle Haggard and all those guys. So, just the list goes on.
Old school stuff.
Those are all good. Yeah.
I got another question, if it's okay.
Sure.
That's a big one. What's the most frustrating part about the case to the both of you? It's a question for each of you, I should say.
Okay. Do you want to take that first? Or you want me to take it first?
I want you to take it first so I can think about it.
Okay. Let me think about it too. I think one of the most frustrating things, I mean, the whole thing is frustrating, but it's really that they don't even give it, they don't give anything a chance to come to light. They're just knocking it off the table, so to speak. And I think one of the biggest, another huge thing, it's hard to pin one down, is the whole Brendan confession, and that flew, that was enough to fly, and it was a circumstantial evidence case, and that little bit of whatever that they could scrounge together was, the rest of it was just a big old act by the state. I think that's hugely frustrating.
You know, there was absolutely no hard evidence.
No.
It was all on a child's words, you know, and that's so devastating when it's a child, but it's even more devastating one that has some disadvantages in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that's the most frustrating to me is that some of the things that Ken Kratz was able to get away with, like calling the press release at dinner time when he knew everybody was going to be there, watching, you know, and then painting this story of, you know, rape and, you know, being handcuffed to a bed and all this, you know, all this stuff that there is absolutely no evidence of whatsoever. And yet he said all that, and that tainted the minds of so many people.
Puddles of blood in the raft. Yeah.
Right. Right. Just so many wrong things. That's something that really bothers me for sure.
Well, yeah, and I think that's about summing it up for all of us. It's just absolutely ridiculous how they've done Brendan, and how they've done Steven, and how they continue to play this game of, you know, like cat and mouse with us a little bit. I worry a lot about the FOIA documents that everybody's getting, because I was looking at the logs, and yes, you guys don't worry, my computer is actually frozen right now, so you're just seeing a black screen because that's what my computer's doing, but we'll wait it out. So the viewers are like, what just happened? No, it's my computer. It'll come around. Betsy will kick in. But you know, you look at this case and you're like, okay, well, they're still continuing to mess with us, obviously, by the way that they're, you know, answering, the state's answering, but the circuit court's not. Court of Appeals is like trying to do their thing, and the state's answering when it's not even their turn to talk. It's like they're just can't leave it alone. And so I worry about these FOIA documents when you look at them. If this was actually, and I'm just going to throw it out there, if these were actual logs of actual evidence, the original ones, you'll find one page in the new ones that could be considered legal, because it has a line that crosses all the other lines explaining that it's meant to be blank. So in any type of legal document that is an inventory, you're required by the state of Wisconsin law to put a line through any blank lines and initial it. You can't just leave blank, because in the, obviously, it could incorporate, oh, I want to change the data. I can change it now. It's still available for me to write in the spot. And so when you come into nursing or doctors or lawyers or any type of changes on a report, even if you're doing banking, any court document that you could put into court, or any legal document associated with evidence or anything where there's a chain of custody, okay, they would need to draw a line through the blank line and initial it, stating that this is the end of this sheet. And you only see that once that I know of. There may be more, but I only saw it once. But the problem is you're getting information that says page 1 of 1. We're getting 300 pages, and there's nothing on the page. It's just this one little written thing there, and then there's nothing else on the whole page. And then when you look at the actual chain of custody, and then you connect it to the CASO reports where you have the actual investigator saying, whatever it would be. Let's say we collect item A, and the investigator is saying, well, I'm going to send it to the crime lab. We don't have that on the log. We don't have the chain of custody going to the crime lab that way. We see it go from like Officer, Joy, but we don't see it go to the crime lab. And so there, it'll go right from the evidence custodian Hawkins right to Wiegert, back to Hawkins. Oh yeah, the computer you guys are getting a show. It's like totally flashing.
Oh,
I hope
bad word. Bad word.
Doesn't crash. If it does, we will lose the live. Computer's crashing. Sorry, guys. I could not even begin to tell you why. I'm trying to minimize some things. Okay, now it's waking back up. I have no idea why it would do what it did, but it just opened your PowerPoint, baby. Oh, you guys are going to get to see this next Friday. We'll give you a sneak peek. How's that sound? Well, it went away all on its own. It's like opening up programs left and right. I haven't opened anything, just so you guys know.
There it is.
No, it's going to go away again in a minute, and it's going to open up like this recording program. It's just opening random stuff up. I've never seen my computer do this.
So I have a quick question while we're trying to get if we're still online. If we're still going, I have a question.
Well, I'm going to keep playing it out because so far so good. I mean, it seems to be working.
How much time do you guys spend on the road?
We've done in the past, 210 dates a year, roughly, around somewhere around there.
Wow, that's a lot.
On the road.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. And is your wife with you, Meredith? Do you get to go with?
She's always by my side. We're always together.
I didn't. I'm not a trained musician in any kind of way. After we got married, we eloped on a tour. Actually, after we got married, I thought, if there was something that I could do musically, so that we could stay together and I could go on the road too. That's what I wanted to try to do. We don't like to spend time apart, and so the fact that we would spend so much time apart all the time was not how we wanted to live. And so I started to play percussion and sing some, and so that's how I joined the group and how we started touring together, for sure.
That's good. At least you're not stuck at home. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And most people don't really realize, how expensive it is to have a band and hire a band. But we are about to embark on a tour this week, and Meredith and I are going up, and we're playing shows every day for 2 weeks, just about.
Somebody had mentioned in the chat that you're coming in Wisconsin and Oshkosh.
We are. Yeah.
And you're coming to the rally, right?
We can't because of the logistics and everything, because we'll be up there 2 weeks before the rally happens. Yeah. But we want to come in, stream online, and then next year we want to physically be there because we can plan it better. But we had already booked the tour way before we knew about the rally and when it would be.
Yeah. Basically, the anchor show that kind of set this whole tour in motion has been planned for over a year, and at that time we didn't even know about the rally at all, and so we kind of couldn't plan it around that, unfortunately. But now we know for next year, and maybe we'll be able to do it that way.
Yeah.
What venue are you playing in Oshkosh on the 20th?
We're playing actually in Waupun, or however you say it, Waupun, or whatever.
Waupun. Oh yeah,
Waupun.
Waupun. Okay. So you put Waupun. okay. I got to think about the emphasis.
Yeah, like I'm from the South, so originally with my Southern accent, I would have said Waupun, but it's Waupun. They just
It's like Great
northern.
Waupun.
It's real short. Yeah, it's Waupun.
Waupun.
Okay. So we're playing there on the 28th, May 28th, and we've got.
It's a place that's called the Other Bar. It's a very original name.
I like that name.
The Other Bar, and we play 7 to 11 there.
Yeah, and I hear it's a really cool place.
Yeah.
Ashley Holtz has a question, and she asked, "Do you guys have children?"
We don't.
No, we have a cat that's over here, but you can't see her, but she's been around. We have spent so much time on the road, and just to be honest, because I feel like we're, friends here in this network, we haven't been able to afford health insurance. And so we're not going to start out our lives and a new family not being able to afford health care. So that's something that's kind of holding us back a little bit.
But and a big problem in our country right now. Yeah.
In our country, that's a normal thing for families to struggle with, actually. And I was talking to a lady that was over in Denmark, and she said they pay higher taxes, significantly higher, like 60% or something. But everything's free from college to healthcare, and they actually have very amazing colleges and very amazing healthcare, and it's all comes from their taxes. So they don't have to pay excess of that. I mean, there's a lot of things that Americans do struggle with, and I think that healthcare is a big issue.
Yeah, it is. It's big. So we've held off on that. We've also just been, there's certain sacrifices that come with trying to live this kind of lifestyle and this kind of dream.
Yeah, and on the road so much. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So does your cat go with you?
No. We wish she could. She was kind of a rescue cat, and she picked us. We weren't necessarily planning on getting a cat, but she picked us, and so she has just been our baby since then. And but she doesn't like riding in the car. So all of our travels to like Minnesota, which is like 24 hours away from home, that would be a long ride with a meowing cat. So
it'd be like traveling with Lynn Kaczynski.
Exactly. Yeah. No thanks.
You'd have to file harassment charges on your cat.
Yeah.
Meow.
There are a couple questions for you guys, or comments actually. Cinnabar had stated, or Julie stated to Cinnabar, that you guys are going to be playing in Oshkosh on the 20th. And then LL Grace says that you guys are so super talented. Cinnabar says, "Oh, so lovely, Brandon. Thank you for sharing your awesome talent." And let's see. I'm trying to kind of grab them as I go here. A lot of it's about the case right now. We'll give a couple of shout outs on that. Crockett says, "I think the consistent denial there is anything to see here. I think there isn't any. I think she meant isn't anything to see here. We did nothing wrong, not even in the 85 case. It doesn't matter how incriminating the evidence is against the state." I think that's what she's saying, is that they're trying to put forward that they haven't done anything wrong.
Well, that's just ludicrous. It's ridiculous. I wanted to say to Cinnabar that we're not playing in Oshkosh on the 20th. We're actually, today is the 18th? That'd be 2 days from now.
I'm looking at, if I didn't look at our Google Calendar, I wouldn't know where I'm supposed to be when I wake up tomorrow. But so we start off next week, and we're in Southern Illinois, and then we play 3 large bars in Chicago that are like premier country venues. So we're really excited about that. And then right after Memorial Day, or right on Memorial Day, we'll head on into Wisconsin. So we play at Waupun. Waupun. Now I'm going to be self-conscious about that. Waupun. And then we play
Sun Prairie.
The 29th, we're in Sun Prairie. And then the 30th, we're in Madison. And so those are our Wisconsin shows before we head to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Well, those are some wonderful places too because they're good venues. They'll pull a good crowd in for you, and your talent, you guys are going to go very, very far. The success is going to be phenomenal. And I can remember, Brandon, when I was on the YouTube channel and I had seen you say, "Hey, I like your channel and you should check out my channel." And then I had listened to your song and it brought me to tears. And I was wondering, could you give a taste of that song? I know you guys can't stay on real long because you've got other engagements, but before you leave, would you mind sharing play us out a little bit on my very favorite song?
I'm guessing that's Time Will Tell. Is that the one?
Yes, it
Okay.
is, obviously. But
Yeah.
my birthday wish has always been able to, I've listened to it probably, I'd say close to more than 1,000 times.
Wow.
Yes, for real. I play it every day because it stirs some emotion with this case for me, and it reassures me that the truth will come out,
Yes.
and that's what we're working for in this case. And it also reminds me there are times I think we've all had it where somebody gets in a disagreement with you and stuff about they believe a different way than you do, and for me, I like to remember what the case is about, and that's getting Brendan and Stephen home. And if we can all just remember that that's going to help us. And that's what the song does is it reminds me of the goal that the truth's going to tell on them. So, yeah, that would be my big birthday wish. And my birthday is Memorial Day
Absolutely.
weekend.
Well,
And
So,
happy
mine's
early
tomorrow.
birthday.
and yeah, and
Mine's
Baby's
tomorrow.
is tomorrow.
Oh my! Happy
wow.
birthday!
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm gonna have to
We're like
text
a
you
week.
tomorrow.
We're a week apart.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll play this Time Will Tell on you. And I was going to say something. I don't remember what I was going to say now, but maybe I'll think of it here in a minute. Okay, so you got your shaker?
Yeah.
All right. You can tell yourself and all our friends I was wrong and you were right. But your sins that happened in the dark will come out in the light. I'm not gonna waste my breath. I won't put up a fight. 'Cause the days are gonna whisper and the months are gonna talk till the years yell out the truth. And time will tell. Time will tell on you. When a train whistles far away, and when the cold wind blows, when the lightning in your eyes reveals the darkness in your soul, the world will be reminded of what it already knows. That the days are gonna whisper and the months are gonna talk until the years yell out the truth. And time will tell. Time will tell on you. No one may ever say a thing, but surely as the seasons change, when you feel everything points at you, then you're to blame. 'Cause the days are gonna whisper and the months are gonna talk until the years yell out the truth. And time will tell. Time will tell on you. It's gonna tell on you.
Oh, that was insanely cool. Thank you so much.
You are
Oh,
so welcome.
I can tell you now, in the last few weeks, I've had so many things crossed off my bucket list. And that was one of my big ones is, and I told you that a long time ago to hear you play. Now I have one more request in my life, and that's to be able to hear you play live, of course, to be able to meet you guys in person. So I
Yeah,
would love that.
That would be great. And I've got another song called Avery Road, or We All Live on Avery Road. And I could give you a little sneak peek of that.
Are
I
you
don't know if I
serious?
know.
Oh, that would be
I
excellent.
didn't want to pressure you because I know you're working on it. But yeah, that would floor us. We would be like, yeah, you have the floor whenever you're ready.
Let me see if I got the right, can find the right key on this thing.
We both have had some like major allergy stuff going on, and so what happens for him a lot is his voice will change key, and so he might write a song a specific way, and then he has to modify it on the spot because he can't sing it optimally that way because of whatever his voice is doing. And we did this thing today, or he did really, with this group that we just got connected with here in the Chattanooga area, and it's called Operation Song, and it's where a songwriter will meet up with a veteran, and the veteran will kind of share their story, and then the songwriter will help them write a song about something that they really want to get off their chest about their experience in war or, whatever. And so we did that, and then we took a break, and then we went and played a festival, and then we went back to Operation Song. So we've had a busy music day so far too. So
wow,
yeah. Oh, I
well,
think
thank you
guys
for spending time here and doing this. This is wonderful.
Yeah,
it's our pleasure.
We are so honored that you guys
and
take
giving
the
us
time
a
out and
sneak
do
peek.
this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready whenever you guys are.
Okay, yeah. And I also wanted to, just tell you, if you want to tune in on, if you want to go like the Facebook page where Brandon Maddox
we've been posting links. Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, in our chat, our moderators have been posting the links to your YouTube and your face, all kinds of information there. Yeah, we actually had a Brandon Maddox kind of meeting, if you will, and we were like, what all do we want to share and what kind of questions so we don't ask the same questions. So we're learning to get a little bit more prepared, but you got to remember, none of us are professional. Like you guys are very professional. We're just housewives and armchair sleuths, and we're just so amazed.
Nosy people
people that want to know what the heck went on there. Absolutely. But we're just so honored again that you guys are coming on here and being so supportive to the case, to Steven and to Brendan, and to our channel as well as other channels. And you're always welcome on here anytime you like, of course.
Well,
thank you very much. Yeah, we appreciate it.
And we will be doing a puddle chat afterwards.
If anybody feels like joining, you guys can do that. I also have probably very similar to what you guys are experiencing physically. I have a very severe cold. So I probably won't be up much longer, unfortunately, because I think the fever might be kicking in soon here. We're all kind of like, yeah.
But we made her wear a mask though, so she wouldn't get
it's
you sick.
It's a viral mask so that I don't get anybody virally sick.
Might catch a computer virus.
Oh.
But anyway.
Your sneak peek. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you a sneak peek of this. And I was thinking about for the rally, I've incorporated a little chant in here that I thought might be, possibly good for the rally at some point. So.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah. This is awesome.
I'll play you maybe a chorus, a bridge, and a chant here. So we all live on. That's a little low for me. Let me bump it up. We all live on Avery Road. Let's see. We all live on Avery Road. The dark chill starts where the trail runs cold. When the sun goes down on Avery Road, they dig up dirt if they can't find the bones. What they blamed on him, they could pin on us. His yard's full of cars and our field of rust. That trailer is our home. We all live on Avery Road. There's a reason why there's a you and I and guilty. And when justice jumps the gun, the killer could be anyone. Yeah, we're right there with you, right there with you, Stephen, right there with you. Your house is a home, right there with you, right there with you, Brendan, right there with you. Your pain is a home, right there with you, right there with you, Stephen, right there with you. Your house is a home, right there with you, right there with you, Brendan, right there with you. Your pain is our home, yeah, we all live on Avery Road. A dark chill starts where the trail runs cold. The sun goes down on Avery Road. Dig up dirt if they can't find the bones. They blamed on him, they could pin on us. His yard's full of cars and our field of rust. That trailer is our home. We all live on Avery Road.
Holy cow. Okay,
Wow.
that's probably literally my next favorite song right there.
Kat said the song's a hit.
There's something
L.L.
about that
Grace
song.
said, watch out country billboards.
Yeah, that's going to be a big hit. It's got a neat rhythm, but it's also, I mean, I didn't know the words, of course, because it's brand new, but I could feel myself like wanting to sing with you, you know, like when it's a good song for me.
Thank God
I
you didn't bust out a tambourine and start singing.
Yeah, I'm like the whole time you were singing, I'm like, oh yeah, I can feel it. That's going to be phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was incredible.
Wow,
you guys
I'm just so
do
glad
so much for the case.
You like it so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was really, really good. Really good. It's got a unique rhythm that I can really get into and feel it. And you're getting some really good response too. I'm pretty sure that is going to go really big. And I think that, you know, even if people aren't from Wisconsin and they don't even know the case, if they listen to that, you guys do a great job. The way you write it, Brandon, to tell the story. It could be, you know, Chattanooga, Tennessee. It could be Dothan, Alabama. It doesn't matter where you live. This case could happen, and you kind of bring that into that story. That was amazing.
Well, and we have listeners from all over the world. So.
All over the world, yeah.
And there's somebody from Canada here.
I just want to say you're a quadruple threat because I've been to your site and I saw all your pictures, and I really love the fact that you go to the hospitals like you do and you visiting with veterans and stuff like that. I had a daughter at age 8 who almost died. She spent a month in a hospital, and I was lucky enough to leave with a healthy child. And when we left, I was heartbroken because I saw so many children and so many young people there that were dying that had such a good attitude. But I think it's people like you that inspire them to just keep smiling and just keep getting through it. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm blessed to be a blessing at those times, to see those kids and families when we go into those places. You know, sometimes those kids, it just turns their whole day around, and they become fans, and their parents too. So it's just awesome to be able to give back in that way.
Well, and
very
you guys
inspiring.
You give a lot. You know, your time is always very, very valuable to us because I consider our channel kind of small time, but it doesn't seem to matter to you if it's small time or not to others. You just still put 100% in it. And that means so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for having us tonight.
Yeah,
we really
thank
appreciate it. And thanks for everybody who's posed the great questions. Some really awesome questions have come our way. So thank you. And I hope to connect with each and every one of you and see you when we're in Wisconsin or wherever we happen to be touring.
Oh, that would be excellent. Yes.
Yeah, that would be incredible. I personally can't go anywhere towards Manitowoc because I'm terrified of that place now after watching this case. So I'll wait till you're in Waupun.
Yeah, so we'll be there the 28th in Waupun.
Okay, so that's very near my birthday, and I know some people that are going to be traveling around. I might have to grab them and be like, "Hey, let's go surprise some friends." That would be amazing.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
I'll play these songs for you.
My friends would be like, "Hey, we're still here. You're ignoring us." I'd be like, "Shh, I want to hear this."
We're talking.
Yeah. So
mute your mic.
Like I might have to bring my out-of-state security guard or something.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Can you make my?"
You have a lot of people asking, "Are you coming to Michigan and Ohio?" I mean, people are already asking for you. So
that's awesome. Yeah, we've toured in Michigan and Ohio.
Yeah.
We haven't set anything up for this year because we've been in the moving process so much. But we plan on next year starting back with a pretty full schedule again and going to some of those places. We're just trying to get settled in our new house. We're still unpacking boxes. We're still trying to sell the old house.
Well, we better get at these little venues while we can, because after hearing that last song and knowing that historically through your other songs, the quality is so rich. Your voice, by the way, and I think I've seen this a couple times mentioned in the chat today, is incredible. Not because you are good at recording, but because you are just a natural talent. And when you do live, a lot of the times the fans know, well, it's live. We kind of have to know they're not going to sing it as good. But I would not be able to tell the difference. You have such a quality. It's phenomenal. You will go very far.
So much.
Yeah, I think one day we're going to be all sitting around going, "Hey, we know that, that guy that's worldwide singer, and so famous. We've actually talked to him." So you'll be our big brush of fame for us. I see. Yeah,
remember
I think we're all
when?
going to be. We'll be sitting on Discord and we're going to be like, "Hey, did you hear Brandon's got his 10th album out and it went gold?" And we'll be like, "We knew him when." Yeah, I'm serious. I have no doubt you guys are going to do fantastic. You just have anybody that has that kind, and there's so few that do, but has that natural talent to be able to do the writing and the singing and the playing and, to just pick it up on the fly on a live like that and sound that good. Oh man, I tell you, that's incredible.
Yeah, it means a lot. I had a guy the other day give me one of the highest compliments that I've ever been paid. If anybody's heard the song "Old Red" by Blake Shelton, one of the guys that's working with Operation Song, that's the veterans organization that Meredith mentioned a second ago. He's also working with Operation Song. So it was last Wednesday night. I was at one of the Operation Songs. It's the very first time I'd ever sat down to write with anybody there. And me and this other guy were writing a song, and it turned out to be really good, but I didn't realize how good until I got a call from the writer of Old Red saying, "Hey, I really loved your song the other night." And so I was like, wow, he just called me up.
That's incredible.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, that song in itself is well written, and it's so well written because it has that story quality that you naturally have when you sing. And I think that's probably what drew him is drew him into your style, is because you actually have that ability. A lot of people, when they paint a picture, they'll say, "Well, I went to art school and it's great. It looks great. Colors are good. It's a good picture." But then there's those few that you see a whole story when you look at the painting, and you just know that person's naturally gifted. They're just going to go places with it. And that's what I think when I listen to your music, is how rich the stories are. And I just love that. And that's why I predict you're going to do very, very well. And thank you guys for always doing the support, and not just to the case, but to the Children's Hospital and everything. It really, I think it does better
and
our world to be a better
place.
And veterans and everything. All of us are striving here in this case for a common goal, and that's to turn things back around to the way it should be, where the truth holds, where the truth is held up and it's respected. And we have to get that back into our planet. No matter where we live, we're all on Avery Road because we all know we need to make a difference in this world. And you guys you're not just talking about it, you're actually following through with those steps. And so I say hats off to you. My little sleuth hat comes off out of respect.
Yeah, you hit
and Ella Grace said, I think the same thing, like we need to save this life. They will be famous, huh? So it would be cool to have a good look back.
Yeah, that's absolutely for sure. I'm going to download it just in case. What if YouTube flashed and it went away or something? I'd be like, it's gone. We will give you guys. We're going to give you listeners a little tidbit. A few months back, we were so excited about Brandon Maddox and everything, and he was willing to do an interview, and I tried to do it, and I didn't have the electronics, and I didn't have my YouTube stuff, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I had like 3 phones and an iPad and all kinds of ways, and we were so excited. And then when I went to play it back, you couldn't hear Brandon at all, and I was so brokenhearted. And he was kind enough to say, hey, we'll do it again. And a lot of people say that to kind of make you feel good and not feel bad. But Brandon and Meredith, you guys held to your word. And thank you. You made my world. This has been fantastic.
Well, it's our pleasure, and we'll come on again. So
cool. Good.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys decide that you've got some free time, just hit us up on an email. You know how to, or even on our private messages, hit me up there or give me a phone call. I've got some things sorted out in my life now that I can get back onto some of my media things. I had to kind of rearrange some things. The channel's growing very big, so it is taking up a major part of my life, and I love that. But I also work full time, and I've had a household structure change. Nice way to say I'm going through a divorce. Anyway, we're moving along. So things have kind of settled out. The dust has kind of rested, and so anytime you guys are wanting to do this again, just please let me know.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah,
for sure.
Thank you very much. And
it's just hard because a lot of times we're working on Saturday night, so we don't have very many Saturday nights off to be able to do this, but we're glad that we could line everything up to be part of it tonight, for sure.
We can always do a Tuesday night for you guys or a Monday night. Well, you let us know. Yeah.
Well, and we're going to be moving to Friday nights.
Yeah, we're moving to Friday nights. We still probably have gigs, but we are tossing around. We want to keep all our ducks in a row, and so we know the library is a big project coming up as we get the mini mams kind of going again. Those are on a roll now, and we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, so we have some space to play. So we're going to work on the library, but after that, we're kind of pushing around as RD researchers of having like a 1 time a week evening chat about current events. And so that might work out better for a venue for you guys because it would probably fall on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday night.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be really cool.
Well, we'll definitely get connected on that.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch some more of the broadcasts that we need to catch desperately up on.
I know.
And watch now.
We were on this year. 2019 has already been insane, and I know it has been for a lot of y'all too. But we toured in Southwest Florida for like a month. We came back home to Nashville, had shows still in the Nashville area. We were trying to decide what we're going to do with the next single and all the stuff that goes on with having a band. And then we ended up moving within a month and still doing all the things we were normally doing. And then as soon as we moved, then we ended up having to go back to Nashville for stuff that we already had scheduled. And then it was tax season. And if you work for yourself,
taxes are monstrous.
Taxes are awful. And so I had a lot to do with that. And now we're getting ready to hit our peak tour season because so many festivals and outdoor venues and things like that are really starting to hit us up to play. And so, I can't believe that it's almost June. The year's over. Yeah.
It's almost June, but in Wisconsin, we went from 80-degree weather the other day to tonight we had to cover everything because we're facing possibly under 30-some degrees. It's like, seriously?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so bring your coats when you come up this way.
I know.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
like the on my phone. You can set different cities, you know, to always show up. So I have the places that we go to, like the most are coming up, and so I check it like every day, so I know what to pack. And then it seems like no matter when we go to Wisconsin, no matter what the weather has been for the last 2 months of me watching it every single day and packing all our clothes, it'll be the complete opposite. And we'll end up like either having all warm weather things and then we have to run to Target and like buy a sweatshirt or something, or it'll be the, you know, complete opposite. That's happened like every time.
You just have to pack everything.
I know. Well, we don't have suitcases big enough for that.
I told my friends, my girlfriends that I hang out with, that live in my hometown. I call them my love you long time girls, and so they were going to get to come home with me to Arkansas and see my family and everything. And they were so excited because I said we're going to go at Christmas because then you can get away from the snow, and you can see what it's like to have a Christmas. You don't have to wear a snowsuit. All this,
right.
We went down there and I pulled in my parents' driveway and I popped the trunk open and it literally began to snow and it didn't quit till we packed up and left. And my parents to this day said that when I opened my trunk, I let all the Wisconsin weather out and that was my fault.
That's so funny. I mean, I can remember Christmases where I've worn a t-shirt or short sleeves, you know, because it's been that warm. You know, wherever I've been. So
yeah, indeed. Well, okay, you guys. It's almost nearing our 9 o'clock mark, and honestly, since I'm not feeling that good, you guys, I'm going to call it quits at 9. But I welcome you all to join in the puddle room. I am going to stop in there and just say hey to everybody. Then I'm going to take a big dose of like my pillow. And try to get over this chest cold. I'm sorry to report that this week's mini ma'am, or I'm not mini ma'am, but my daily read might sound kind of rough. I'm still doing it for you guys, but there might be some sniffles because I'm too curious what's going on in the caso to skip it. So I'm going to be reading it, but it's not going to sound great. You'll just have to kind of bear with me. I'm sorry. So, but I want to thank everybody for coming on. And now next week, we're not going to be doing our Saturday Night Live. We're going to be switching it. It'll be the same time starting at 7. I know they usually run till about 10 or 11. So it'll probably still run those times, but it'll be on Friday nights. And I know that we're going to be bringing into it. BB's been working on a specific I don't want to give too much away. She's working on a project that you saw a little sneak peek of tonight on my computer. That's going to be talked about, and that's a big deal. I'm going to be talking about the Mountain Dew can. And then Silkman, he has been kind enough to create a whole new video for us. And so that movie is going to be coming out this week. And let me see. How can I give you a clue about that? Well, it's about the bullet. It's about time to talk about the bullet. And we're going to be talking about the crime lab, and we're going to get some question answered. Did Culhane need to use all that bullet? What are the real protocols? And what other things occurred with FL that were coincidental? I'm putting quotation fingers up. So those are all upcoming. And then we have some live events, also current events that we'll be talking about on Friday night. So I want to thank Sammy for coming on. And I'm so glad that you were able to.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And thanks for asking the questions for Zoe. She's going to be so delighted. And then Lily, I want to thank you so much. Not only did you help us on the chat, but you also did a wonderful job with BB as well, and Tony doing mod work, and Sammy. All of you guys, I hope everybody was able to get the links because I see them flying by. That's wonderful. And let's see.
Can I thank somebody too?
Yes, of course.
I want to thank you for having us on here once again, and I want to thank Bumblebee for letting me out of timeout so I can be on.
Oh my gosh, she's never going to live that down. You know what she said, Brandon? She realized what happened. Sam is like, I think you just put Brandon in timeout, and she goes, no, I didn't. And she's like, well, that's what it says. And she's like, Oh no. So she is brokenhearted. She's freaking out. And she goes, that's why they call me Bumblebee. Oh no.
Oh no.
I
Now,
said that I said that's why BB's never gonna own the master set to the library and the master keys to the library. She'd come
I
back
told
and
her,
she'd be like,
does it have a delete button? She said,
yeah,
yes.
she'll be
I
like,
said, I don't want
I
it.
yeah, yeah. So I wish everybody a wonderful week. And for those of you that need any information about Brandon and being able to see him in live venues, the website has been posted and you can go to it. And I'm sure he's got updates of where he's going and when. And then if you're interested in the mini mams, those are Thursday nights. They air at 6 p.m. and that's Central Time. And that's US Central Time. And then also we have our daily reads going on. We have the library there. There's a link for you. That is going to be getting a facelift, hopefully in the month of May, depending on how quick I get over this really wonderful chest cold. So, all right, guys, it's almost time to call it an evening. So I'm not going to say it tonight. I'm going to see who knows my favorite saying.
If you didn't do the crime, you shouldn't sit the time.
Didn't do the time.
It's catching on. It's catching on. It's so true. It's so true. All right. Thanks to all the listeners. Hey, if you're supporting out there by tweeting, if you're doing it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, it doesn't matter whose channel you're representing. If you're mentioning Stephen and Brendan and keeping them in front of the world for the world to watch over them, you're keeping them safe. And
please
thank you.
Share some of Brandon's songs.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please share. That's how we're going to get his music heard, is to share it. So please tweet it, Twitter it, whatever you got to do to give him a boost also, because the world needs to hear that music. It's wonderful. Thank you, guys. Thank you, LL Grace. Love you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Y'all have a great night.
Yep.
Much love to all. Good night, all.
Much love. See you guys.
Bye, guys. Now I got to try to figure to do this, BB.
Yeah,
every time.
I can't get out of the call because I can't get back in the room, so I'm gonna shut my phone down, start it up, and I'll meet you guys in Puddle.
Okay, love you guys. Bye, everyone. Much love. See you this week.